speaking of that, then we have with our news, we have a news section. So we're gonna do the same thing for about 20 minutes. This is what we do. It's our second section. It's called "Do You Give a Bleep?"
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the Carissa has compiled how many stories?
5.
And do you want to explain the rest of it, or should I continue mansplaining this?
You continue mansplaining to your heart's content, because no matter what I say, you're going to do it anyway.
Gotcha. So, what's the first one?
First one is the new MacBook was announced.
Yes.
On the 27th. Apparently, this one features a secondary display between the keyboard and screen that they're calling the Touch Bar.
Yeah.
That does away with the function keys and allows support for up to 10 fingers at once, which is good, because if you have more than that, you're probably a freak.
Or you're typing with an 11th, and don't do that.
Yeah.
I feel like you just lost the support of all 11-fingered people out there.
I'm not talking about a finger.
Hello.
Yeah, I don't want to touch that keyboard.
So the new Mac, any idea what they're going to cost?
I think the figure I was seeing was somewhere around $1,500.
Oh, that's a great price.
It's pretty in line with what they've been charging for them. But I did hear that they're doing away potentially with the MacBook Air, and that it's just all going to be
a single MacBook.
The MacBooks.
Well, this one is the new MacBook Pro is supposed to be lighter than the MacBook Air.
Yeah.
So that kind of would rule out the whole point of the MacBook Air.
I miss my MacBook Air. I had one. I had one of the first gen Mac Airs. Not the most powerful machine.
No.
It was a little underpowered, but I mean, it weighed less. It felt like my iPad carrying it around. And in college, we had these big power books that were like 15 pounds. So, to me, the Air, these super thin, lightweight laptops are a godsend.
Yeah, I have one now, a MacBook Air, and I like it. And I previously had a MacBook Pro.
But you don't have a YouTube channel.
No, like I'm not a person who has musical talent or does mixing or editing of anything like that. I just, read the internet.
Right. So, because really the MacBook Pros have always been for here's a little extra horsepower.
Yeah.
Because these videos, like, it's still going to take me 3 hours to render it because I'm using this on a Mac Mini. I love my Macs. Do you use Mac?
I have a Chromebook.
So, that's a pretty good option, too.
Yeah, so...
Tell her about the Chromebook, because she needs a new machine. So tell her why she should have a Chromebook instead of a Mac.
Well, I don't... Like Caitlin, I do not have any real discernible musical talents or anything, so I don't have much cause to dip into any sort of major power for a computer. So really, I just needed to, like, surf Facebook, watch YouTube, and, like, rant online about various political, things that upset me. So...
It should be noted... the audio stuff is actually way more lightweight than video. Video is, because now I've been doing both, video is way more intensive. You can build a studio around a Mac Air.
Yeah, but the Chromebooks, they're super thin, super light. Mine's fanless, so I don't have to worry about like overheating. It's super fast. And since I use Android devices anyhow, everything all is nicely interconnected, so...
Does it play games?
I have a PS4. That's how I play games when I do play games.
And a 2DS. Before you leave, I got to show you my 3DS.
Yes. I also have a 2DS. I do not play games as often as I would like, although, I don't know if I told you. Yeah, I think we all had this discussion. I have recently been playing quite a bit of NHL 17, which, for anybody that has stopped playing NHL games in like 2011, 2012, you will be very disappointed with your current skills, because I used to be pro at those old school NHL games. Like, I played tournaments and everything, and I just get destroyed by the computer constantly in 17. That it's almost become a point of pride. Like, I probably would have stopped playing the game ages ago because I don't really care that much about video games anymore.
Sure.
But I've like stayed up until like 2 o'clock in the morning just to make sure I win a damn game, because like I lose and I lose and I lose and I feel like I'm just on the cusp of victory.
Now, is it because your team is... What team are you playing as?
The LA Kings. And
they did all right. They have
a fantastic team.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, 2 of the last 4 years we won the Stanley Cup. So I think we've had more than just a couple good seasons.
As a Rangers fan, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Watch the language.
Exactly. We try not to swear on this because...
Did I swear? Oops.
No.
Oh, okay. I was like,
we try not
see,
to.
When you say a couple of good seasons, I would not have been surprised if I was like, whoa, those are fighting words, let's drop the gloves.
Yeah,
That's
we were
true.
heading in that direction.
I have the gloves. We can drop gloves. So yeah, do you give a bleep about the new MacBook with this new touch bar where you can pick your emoticons?
Yeah, I haven't really looked that deeply into it. I will say tentatively I give a bleep because I am at this point, I have an iPhone, I have an iPad, I have a Mac. The next thing I'm going to buy is going to be a Mac. So eventually when my MacBook Air no longer runs,
You'll replace it with a new Mac.
I'll replace it with a new Mac.
And so you give a bleep because there's new features coming. And
Yeah, I'm a little wary of the touch bar though, I have to say.
I'm wary of Mac OS.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about Mac OS because I'm still running I don't know.
I'm on whatever the latest thing is that's not Sierra. I think Sierra is the new one that they pushed out to everybody for free, and I haven't installed that yet. But like I said, I just go on Twitter and
maybe somebody
Facebook
in the comments will
and
know
rant about politics.
I
So.
can't Twitter. It's 140 characters. It's I cannot limit myself to such a small field.
Yeah, I mostly use it for
It's
Normal.
interesting.
Yeah, I mostly
Don't yell
retweet
at the
other
cat.
Just drink it as water.
So Regal Cat is. So I should move the camera and actually show this. So Regal Cat is down here, and she's got her face in Mike's water glass, and she's drinking it from it. This is the funniest thing.
So
She's a great big old piece of personality.
This might be unfamiliar for most Americans, but Canadians actually don't mind sharing. So, so it's not like, oh, I better move my water. It's more like, oh, enjoy, please. What's mine is yours.
Them's fighting words. Sharing is caring.
See, we've been trying to teach her not to drink
Americans
out of
invented
people's water
torrenting.
cups.
Well,
And
I had to move it. I'm
the
sorry,
MP3 wasn't
Stephen.
actually invented by an American.
Your mom said I had to move it. Sorry.
Aww. She just doesn't want your water tasting like kitty breath. All right, what's next?